Thank you. Selamat sore semuanya. GM. Ya, thank you banget semuanya masih hadir di sini. Jadi maybe this afternoon we will talk about more fun stuff. So we are talking about gaming. It's a panel about unlocking blockchain-powered gaming and esport, crafting art, IP, gaming, and more. This will be a very exciting panel. So let me start, without further ado, let me start it first. First, I want to invite Wong, the country manager for Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia at the Sandbox. Wong is the country manager for the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia at the Sandbox, subsidiary of Animoca Brands. He also advised GameFort and sit on the Martech Summit Advisory Board with experience in over 20 startups across multiple sectors, including blockchain, and he brings broad entrepreneurial expertise. So yeah, please give a round of applause to Wong. Thank you very much for coming. And if you want like entrepreneurial advice in blockchain, you could catch him up later after this panel. Next, we have Soby flying from USA, like very, very long flight. Soby is the co-founder of Xpopulous, a Web3 video game studio, a core contributor of Cygame, you definitely know them. L3 layers in Arbitrum, and an experienced angel investors in the crypto industry. I think he knows most of the crypto founders. Currently focusing on bringing the next evolution of gaming through blockchain technology and AI. So for all of those that looking for also investor, you need to catch Soby also after this. Please give a round of applause to Soby. Thank you, Soby. Next, we also have our fellow Indonesian here, Bapak Shafiq Husein. He's the CEO of Gambir Studio, but also the president of Asosiasi Game Indonesia, AGI. He's known for creating games with strong IP value and collaborating with other brands to make unique gaming experience. With over 10 years in the industry, he has a deep understanding of what makes product resonate with players and how to build meaningful partnership. One of the most popular games that launched is Selera Nusantara, right? I think most of you here now, and you want looking for advice, please catch Shafiq after this. Last but not least, we have Chin Yu, the CEO and co-founder of Widhiyasa. Please give a round of applause of Chin Yu. With over a decade of experience in consulting, business development, and startup, Chin Yu has a strong foundation in finance and technology. Prior to Widhiyasa, he held leadership role at KPMG London and a Taipei-based education startup. So Chin Yu is very passionate about driving blockchain gaming adoption in Southeast Asia and sees Widhiyasa as one of the key players in the industry. So thank you very much. Please give one more round of applause to all the panelists. Okay, let's start. Okay, maybe to do, if you don't mind, I want to ask you, everyone, to do an opening remarks. The bull market is coming. Do you think so? And what do you think the impact of the bull market for the blockchain gaming will be? Maybe start with you, George, and then.
So it's about bull market, right?
The bull market and the impact of the blockchain gaming.
I don't think the bull market has fully come yet. So, and if you look at the data, I think the bull market has a lot more to go. In every cycle, in the past 3 cycles I've sat through, everyone thinks, oh, the bull market's here, then they fade out, and then suddenly it goes euphoric. We haven't reached that level of euphoric yet, so I think there's still room to go, but I'm not speculating, so we'll see. But the other thing is, I think it's, every bull market helps to draw attention to the industry. Every new bull market brings more people in, and I think that's good for the industry as well, as more and more institutional players come in and provide support. I think I was in Indonesia many years back, and the events were small, kind of sad, and today we have this space and a lot of participation and institutional players as well. So I think every bull market helps to grow the pie over time. So to me, including gaming, it's a positive effect in the long run. That's from me.
Yeah, I think definitely we're seeing the first inning of the bull market. What's interesting is BTC's been hitting all these all-time highs, but you're actually not seeing that many mainstream media headlines. Normally, like last cycle when that was happening, we were seeing a lot more of it. BTC and actually crypto in general has become a lot more institutionalized as well. I think with regards to gaming, similar to last cycle, so I've been in crypto for way too long at this point, and basically usually the way it goes is BTC makes all-time high, than Ethereum does. Well, I think this time around Solana will be what Ethereum has done. So Solana will be a good sentiment check for alts. Solana will continue to outperform, and then money from Solana will flow to alts. It's really going to be probably when BTC is like at $150,000 or Solana is at like $400 when you see gaming and NFTs and stuff go up, because those are viewed as kind of like luxury assets. That's what happened last cycle. NFTs and things like Axie and Ronin and all this stuff did really well, but it was near the later half of the cycle, and I think we'll see something similar unless, we can also see something like Riftstorm do really well, reach a mainstream audience, because the difference between gaming this cycle and last cycles, we've had, 4 years to actually build stuff. Last time it was like, oh, this is a good idea, let's bet on it. Now this time I think it's going to be, hey, we bet on it, what are the products, and we'll see where that goes. So I think, gaming stuff will see more of a late cycle rotation, and it is really hard to build in Web3 gaming, but it is what it is.
Okay, maybe for the Web2 developer, it's not directly like affected with the bullish market of it, but I think right now that if we see the Web3 market is really growing, and of course the impact for the gaming industry, it's inviting more investors to like tap into the gaming industry as well. And based on our experience, I think that when we was in Tokyo Game Show, if you remember that right now that the Web3 games is not only focusing to creating an NFT or more like collectible item that you can collect, but they are more focusing on the gameplay as well. So the user experience and in the gaming platform is way better now instead of like 2 or 3 years back when the NFT just started. So I think it's gonna be a really great opportunity because the gaming market is more like wider. I'm not saying that it's gonna be pivot or people like change from Web2 to Web3, but we are like spreading our wings to like opening up new opportunity as well in the gaming market.
I think that the bull market has not come back yet. We're still seeing BTC obviously hit new highs, but the rotation into altcoins, as Soby has said, hasn't happened yet. I think this cycle has been very difficult for gaming, especially this year. If you look at all the gaming tokens that have come out, most of them have underperformed, and to the detriment of the founders and the teams. But I think that if you wait it out, I think next year is when it's going to come back. So yeah, right now the narrative is all BTC, meme coins, AI, not really gaming, but gaming will come back strong, I think, next year, because at the end of the day, gaming is the easiest way for people to onboard onto the blockchain. Telegram games right now are a good user acquisition funnel, but you're not really seeing the innovative capabilities of the blockchain in gaming yet. So I think whilst it's a good user funnel, the real impact of blockchain gaming, you'll be able to see it next year. Yeah, but obviously do your own research first.
Thank you. So bull market is not really, I think it's just started. I think from based on what you said, gaming now is not really like the main narrative, but it will be coming soon. So that's very interesting. Okay, so I think next I want to ask the panelists here, because mostly people that are coming here, maybe not really in the blockchain gaming or the Web3 gaming. So I think please enlighten us, like what is the main use case of how blockchain can leverage gamers or like esports experience in general? What is the main benefit of blockchain? Maybe start with Chin-Yu first.
When we talk about blockchain gaming, everyone talks about digital ownership, right? Owning your own assets, because right now you play, PUBG, you play Valorant, you play Ragnarok online, you play all these games, you spend hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours in them, and you get nothing in return. If they shut down the game, then your game basically, all your assets go with it. You have a license to the skin, right, or the asset. So it's all about digital ownership, and I think it's a very idealistic way of thinking, obviously. A lot of the people right now are still playing, about 60–70% of the people are still playing games which are 6 years old. So you really cannot, these people don't feel the benefits yet. You have to take away what they have right now, which is something which they poured hours and hours into it for them to really feel the benefits. And owning something, contributing to a gaming ecosystem and being rewarded for your loyalty and your support is what it's all about at the end of the day. Web3 flips everything on the head so that the power is not with the centralized authority, but with all the people. Like everyone who plays the game should own the game. And that's what ultimately blockchain gaming is about. And I think for esports, there's a lot that we can do there as well. Obviously, leveraging smart contracts to see what happens in tournaments. But at the end of the day, it's like George and we had a really interesting conversation yesterday about esports and how the esports model is there for the taking. Anything which has a centralized authority and like a different business model, you can change that by decentralizing things. So yeah, that's my take on things.
Interesting. Shafiq?
Well, actually, I do agree with the true ownerships program, that the things that I think that for now is only for the Web3 as well. So actually users can own something from the game as well. And which is with the play to earn model, which is for me personally is very interesting because you can more engage with the user, so user can earn something from the game as well. And regarding about the transparency and the security as well. I think in Web3 the transparency is very it's there. So I think that user is more trust with the developer too. And I think that the last point that I want to say is interoperability, which is that we can use the same assets on the other game as well. So that will be very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think digital property rights are for sure super important. I think the interesting part about having blockchains natively in games is you have a globally scalable payment infrastructure built in natively. So then you can actually do things like UGC or user-generated content and engage in things like micropayments, where I can go maybe pay you $5 or $2 or whatever for you building something within the game, which normally in Web 2, just the administrative cost of issuing such a payment is so high that it just wouldn't even happen. So it lowers the threshold in terms of UGC, which I think can create really interesting second-order effects for users and for IP. In addition to that, user acquisition is really interesting when it comes to having things that have digital property rights, because once you have digital property rights, what that means is this asset has become liquid, right? This means that you can go list it on marketplaces like Magic Eden or OpenSea, trade it within a globally scalable marketplace for real money, right? Instead of just a walled garden. And so because of that, you can have these things where, for instance, I could be playing Riftstorm and I want to win this NFT or win this token because it's worth something. And now the games on the other side have essentially they've created a user acquisition budget or tool that infers a lot more capital efficiency for them. And then finally, I think when it comes to esports, you saw this with Parallel. Love the Parallel guys. They are doing this tournament right now where I think the prize pool is either $500,000 or $1 million. It's paid out in their native token, Prime, but actually Hearthstone was doing a tournament as well and then upped their tournament sizing once they saw how big Parallel was doing theirs. So for esports or just in general for user acquisition, teams that have done well and have liquid assets can actually use those assets to do things and create tournaments at scales where Parallel is not a household name, Blizzard is a household name, and they can create a prize pool that rivals a giant in gaming. And I think as you see more games that have founders from Web 2 and have really passion for what they're doing, you'll see a lot more creative use cases around blockchain. But for now, I think global payment system, UGC, and user acquisition are three big benefits to using blockchain in games.
I'm just gonna lean in quickly. Most people don't know Sandbox used to be a traditional mobile game until about 2018. So we adopted blockchain technology because our game had about 300,000 creators who were not making money but making content on our game. So when we decided to adopt blockchain technology, the idea was to create a new creator economy in games to allow, and during the time when we started, the whole incentivizing creators in gaming wasn't really prevalent. Today you have Fortnite with UEFN and so forth, but that was a very recent application of incentivizing creators. So we believe that with blockchain, you would have the opportunity for many of the new generation who are like creators at home, and they can now monetize their content. And that is also a trend in gaming in general. So I think that's where blockchain does have the real use case today, not 10 years from now.
Interesting. So let me try to recap. So the first one is that it's about digital ownership. The second one is about incentivizing users. And then global payment infrastructure, also supporting the UA, user acquisition. And then also in terms of esports, it in a way it's giving rewards that's aligned with everyone. And the last one, creator economy. That is very interesting. So there's a lot of things that blockchain could unlock, especially in Web3 gaming. Okay, now, because now we are in Indonesia, and then I really grateful for everyone to be able to fly here, like especially Soby, like it will be very far for you. Thank you very much. So this question is to everyone, but let's start with Soby. Let's talk about Indonesia. So I just read a recent report from Tiger Research that Indonesia already shifted from the 7th rank to the 3rd rank in terms of global crypto adoption. What do you think about that? How do you see Indonesia? Start with Soby.
Oh, yeah, so Indonesia is quite interesting because I think, at least for Web3 gaming, people look at the Philippines, right? It's really easy to think of, when you visualize Web3 games, like, or play-to-earn games as user base, the first thing people think of is the Philippines. And what's interesting, actually, is Indonesia, this is funny to say this to a room full of Indonesian people, but Indonesia has twice the amount of people as the Philippines, but the GDP actually has quite a gap in it, which implies that there's a lot of room for economic growth. You've seen this in Vietnam, where people use a lot of crypto. You see this in the Philippines. And Indonesia, I think, is going to be this next big geo, but there's so many people here. And interestingly enough, I'm from Los Angeles, where crypto is more of a luxury. People in developing countries, they want exposure to stable coins, right? They want exposure to Bitcoin because their currency, actually the Indonesian rupee is doing kind of well over the last year or so, but you want to have these stable assets, right? And I think, especially in Indonesia and with how pro crypto the government is, it feels like they see this as an opportunity to catch up in terms of GDP and economic creation. And there's a lot of users here, right? As the world becomes more and more advanced, countries that are developing actually skip a lot of things on the tech tree, right? You saw this in India, where people just went straight to mobile, right? Just went straight to Wi-Fi without even spending a lot of investment in land infrastructure. I think you'll see a similar thing here in Indonesia, where a lot of users will just want to use crypto apps, right? They'll want to play crypto games, and we're really excited to have a presence here, because I think it will be bigger than the Philippines in about 3 to 4 years.
Maybe George could add.
Fun fact, initially the Sandbox didn't want to open Indonesian market. But I was very bullish on Indonesia for at least the last 5 years, that I told them that even if we were to do it in a small way, I insist on building in Indonesia. Today, Indonesia is our largest organic player market in 1 year, right, for the Sandbox. We have the most active community in Southeast Asia is already Indonesia, and we haven't invested as much as I like. And next year, our priority country for Southeast Asia is Indonesia, so that's what I think, right? That's the best I can say. There you go.
Okay, wow, it's a good news that I've heard for today. So technically, that we have a very massive market potential with over 270 million of the populations, and most of them are millennials, which is the very tech-savvy populations. And it's always increasingly every year. And right now, that what I've heard is the regulatory process which is the government through Bapepti, is creating clearer frameworks for crypto trading and the blockchain's use as well. And the last thing is for financial inclusion, because blockchain provides such an alternative to traditional banking for the unbanked, and which is a significant portions of the populations too.
So Indonesia is our biggest market by far. We operate in Southeast Asia, so we focus on Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Singapore. But Indonesia is the biggest market for us. My co-founder is also, who is now Vice Minister of Creative Industries, Irene Umar, is also from Indonesia. So we built up a very grassroots presence in this country. And we started off as a guild, obviously, which was focused on pioneering play to earn. And so, providing opportunities for people in Southeast Asia was one of the things that we were focused on through gaming. And we were able to, at our peak, we had 50,000 people playing games and earning money through scholarship programs. And so we want to continue building on that. And as everyone else has touched upon here, massive population, young population, digitally savvy, everyone plays games. You see from Grab drivers to, chauffeurs to everyone on the streets, they're playing games, right? So everyone loves games here. So the market opportunity here is obvious. That's why we're here, and that's why we want to help games, especially Web3 games that want to come to Southeast Asia, expand. So we work with companies like Sandbox, George, and such to help them grow the Indonesia base. And again, similar to Sandbox, 2025, Indonesia is going to be our main market. And hopefully, with Irene being in her position, she's going to do a lot of great things for the country. So let's see, yeah. But for sure, very bullish on Indonesia. Let's go.
Let's go. As our
That's
Vice Minister also say, oh, yeah, please give a round of applause. Just like 30 minutes ago, our Vice Minister, Irene, actually speaking about Indonesia, and she also said that she hoped that this event could be the landmark to actually scale how the crypto industry will move around, and then hopefully we could see everyone next year with maybe 3x the size or 5x the size, and then that's actually what we're really looking forward. Okay, so we have 8 minutes left. I will do a very specific panelist question. Yeah, real quick. So everyone, I think some of us here is Web3 gamers. Maybe I'm going to ask you here, as a prominent guild in Southeast Asia, because you also mentioned a little bit about play to earn, what we as a Web3 gamers could expect in the futures.
So I think the play to earn, the gaming model in Web3 has changed significantly from when we first started. Everything was previously gated around very expensive NFTs that you had to rent and basically play the game and earn money and tokens. The model has shifted. People have realized the unsustainability of those business models because they were very driven by financial incentives. But people play games not because they want to make money. They play games because the game is fun and they love the game, right? So I think what we're seeing now is different business models where you don't have to have an NFT, but the user experience is a lot smoother. You see from off the grid on PlayStation 5 and Xbox where they're actually changing the game, but it's the background of the running of the blockchain, which I think is important, is you can leverage this technology because it's so important. It makes everything transparent. You can see what's going on. And you can basically know who has played what at what time. So I think blockchain should be looked on as a tool, similar to an Unreal Engine or a gaming engine, where it sits in the background. But in terms of changing the gameplay, I think everyone touched upon user-generated content, being rewarded for your gaming playtime, and owning your assets. Imagine leveling up a character, you put in 1,000 hours into this character, right? You're building up your XP, you're leveling up, and your asset grows in value because you've hit that much XP or that level, and you've put in that much hours of work. So I think being able to finally see your gaming contributions come to fruition and being able to monetize from it is what is going to be key.
Thank you, Chin Yu. I'll go to George now. As the OGs in metaverse space, and you've been in multiple cycles, how do you see the future of blockchain-based metaverse or virtual worlds?
I don't think we have tapped the surface of metaverse and gaming. This year, gaming is not a sexy word, especially metaverse. Everyone's talking about AI. It's true. But one thing people don't see, but is coming soon, is AI in the metaverse and gaming. So if you want a Ready Player One experience, if you want to engage with people in the virtual space like in the real world, AI is the enabler. And even for us, we are piloting a lot of AI initiatives in the metaverse. So to me, there will be a resurgence where these technologies will converge and suddenly people are all playing in the metaverse again. And a lot of the commercial, financial aspects, the asset ownership in the metaverse is powered by blockchain. It's an essential ingredient to make the digital economy work. And the metaverse is a big part of the digital economy where everyone will be, it's the gateway to everything that you will experience in the digital space. So it's still, weirdly enough, very early in the metaverse space. But AI implementation is what's going to hyper-accelerate it. I expect to see it in 3 years, where suddenly there'll be a boom again because of that.
Interesting. And you also mentioned about AI. Now jumping to Soby. So Sai has been in the spotlight for onboarding high-quality game. One of them, Riffstorm, hopefully. And now there's new talk in town about AI inside. Could you give like a little bit of how do you see AI in the future with Web3 gaming and how Sai play a role in it?
Yeah, I think, well, it's cool because our ticker is XAI, so you got AI right in the name, which is bullish fundamentally. But more importantly, I think the first iteration of AI was, the way that I viewed it as like hacks in games. Or I was a big Dota player, and I remember when they created this AI that was like so good at Dota, it was like beating Dendi. And I think there's a lot of games that I would play that if I had someone to play with. Like I have a really weird taste in games, and like most of my friends don't want to play like Civilization or any of these other games. But if I had friends to play with, I would. And a lot of multiplayer games too, I think they struggle with player liquidity, right? Like there's games that die. It's actually one of the reasons why I quit playing Dota. It take 25 minutes to get a match. Like, dude, all I have is 25 minutes. I'm busy. I can't just sit here and queue. And I think seeing AI agents in games that are meant to play with you, right, instead of adversarially make you rage quit, right? So where you can queue up, and let's say you're a silver player, right? There's AI agents in the queue that are silver ranked, or maybe there's some standard deviation or variance applied where like you'll get a gold one on your team and you can actually win the game. I think we'll see a lot of that. It does a lot for games where it can reduce these user like UX points that are quite annoying, like matchmaking times. That's why I think multiplayer games are so hard to make, because unless you can hit escape velocity, even Overwatch, right? Super popular game. Sometimes it takes forever to get a game. So I think AI's player liquidity will be quite good. And then in addition to that, I think you'll see AI used in game development a lot as well, right? We're probably 3 to 4 years, maybe 6 years away from prompt to game. And I think that's what, when we were thinking about VR and metaverse, it was about this immersive world, but we realized like immersive worlds take so much time to build. And to George's point, like I think we are actually so early in the metaverse, and AI is what's going to unlock that, where you can put a prompt in, create a metaverse for yourself, and really explore that. And really excited to see how that not only impacts the metaverse, but also game development, in addition to player liquidity, allowing games to actually have a fighting chance at building a community and audience.
Thank you, Soby. Okay, last but not least, to Shafiq, I give you one of the hardest questions. So because there's a lot of government officials also coming here.
Wow,
So as the
okay.
president of the association, if you could give one recommendation to the government in some of compliance or anything about how to grow the local industry, especially in the Web3 gaming, what will it be?
Wow. That was hard. actually, for now that I think that we have to create like a very clear rules and regulations. That's actually the things that we need. I know that for investment, I think that we can get from outside Indonesia or whatever, but the regulations itself that we have to make it clear. So right now that we are not stepping into like on the gray areas or stuff. So the regulations and the protections as well. I think that that's the most two important things.
Great, so clarity and regulation. So I think that's what a lot of our players, all of the players in the Web2 industry actually really expecting for. So yeah, so I think we've reached the end of the panel. And really thank you very much for everybody to coming here. And then hope you enjoy Indonesia. And hopefully we could see you again next year. So thank you everyone
Thank
also
you,
for staying
everyone.
to the panel.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please give a round of applause to our brilliant panelists. Thank you.
Thank you for the moderator and also all the speakers for leading the discussion. We would like to invite you all to the center of the stage and having some moment to take some photos. All right. Maybe the moderator will be in the middle. All right. It's okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. All right then. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause for the session for the moderator, Mr. Arief, Widhiyasa, and all of the speakers.